Here's something that might shock you. The average engagement ring costs as much as a luxury car, but a massive shift in the diamond industry is completely changing how couples say, "I do."
That's fascinating. Are we talking about the rise of lab-grown diamonds? I've been hearing more about this lately.
Exactly right. Let me share a story about Sarah and Malik from Brooklyn. They got this stunning 2.58 carat ring for just $5,800. Lab-grown, of course. But here's the game-changing part. They took the $54,000 they saved and put it toward their first home deposit. Now, let's dive into what real couples are doing with their diamonds and how lab-grown is flipping the script on love, luxury, and legacy. You're listening to the Diamond Disruptor Podcast.
You know what's interesting about that? It reminds me of another couple, Jess and Aaron from Manchester. They went a totally different direction with similar savings, choosing a lab-grown ring and using the money they saved to travel the world for 7 weeks in business class.
Well, this whole trend really makes you question why diamonds were ever so expensive in the first place. The history behind it is pretty wild. We're talking about decades of carefully controlled supply chains and some seriously clever marketing that convinced everyone they needed to spend a fortune.
Oh, you mean like that famous 2-month salary rule? That was pure marketing genius from De Beers, wasn't it?
Exactly. And let's talk about those traditional jewelers for a minute. They were adding these massive markups just for their name. Plus, you had this incredibly bloated supply chain, from mining to middlemen to brokers to retailers. Every single person along the way was taking their cut.
The complexity of that supply chain is mind-boggling when you think about it. Each step added cost but didn't necessarily add value.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Lab-grown diamonds completely bypass all of that complexity. They're chemically identical to mined diamonds. Same sparkle, same hardness on the Mohs scale, same optical properties. Even experts need special equipment to tell the difference.
You know what question I hear all the time, though? People always ask if these lab-grown diamonds are real.
Well, that's such a crucial point because it gets to the heart of what we value and why. These lab-grown diamonds are 100% real diamonds. Pure carbon, structurally identical to mined diamonds. And here's something that might surprise people. Neither type of diamond, mined or lab-grown, is actually a good investment.
So if we're talking about real financial impact, what are couples doing with all that money they're saving?
That's where this gets exciting. We're seeing people put it toward home deposits, dream honeymoons, paying off student debt. When you think about it, the median U.S. down payment for a house is around $54,000. Almost exactly what these couples are saving by going lab-grown. That's not just coincidence, it's life-changing money.
The timing of this shift seems pretty significant, especially given the current housing market and student debt crisis.
You're absolutely right. And what's fascinating is how this represents a larger shift in how we think about luxury and tradition. When Lark Berry launched in 2018 as a 100% lab-grown luxury brand, they faced massive pushback from the traditional diamond industry. But they saw where the market was heading.
Well, the environmental implications are pretty significant too. Lab-grown diamonds have a much smaller carbon footprint than traditional mining operations.
And that's becoming increasingly important to younger couples especially. They're looking at the total impact of their choices, not just the financial aspects. It's part of this larger trend toward more conscious consumption and sustainable luxury.
Looking at all these changes, it really makes you wonder what the diamond industry will look like in another decade.
You know what's really powerful about this whole shift? It's forcing us to examine why we do the things we do. Like, why do we spend what we spend on engagement rings? Is it because we want to or because we think we should? And that's really what marriage is about. Making thoughtful decisions together about your future.
That's such a perfect way to look at it. It's not just about the ring anymore. It's about choosing your priorities as a couple.
And in the end, isn't that what really matters? Whether you choose to put the money toward a house, travel the world, or stick with tradition, it's about making that decision together, based on what matters most to you as a couple. That's the real diamond revolution we're seeing.